Welcome back to the channel. In the last episode, we had some major misfortunes. Mother! Let's see. Nothing. But in this episode, our plan is to right those wrongs and hopefully get this motorcycle to a place where we can start beautifying it rather than just fixing all of the issues that are either from the accident or from me. So strap in, get ready for another fun episode of how to build a Ducati Panigale V2 in a garage like mine. Ugh. And unfortunately, first things first, we're going to head back up here to the tool chest and we're going to try to rebuild the TFT display that we so terribly wronged in the last episode. So, as much as I'd like to be over here on the motorcycle, we're back here today. At least for a little bit.
And that's okay, because if we fix this display, then we have set the world right again, and we have saved ourselves a whole bunch of money.
Ooh, yeah. That got sliced. That's no good.
Luckily, I was able to find a replacement LCD screen on eBay, and there are some very slight differences, but it does seem to fit in perfectly well where it's supposed to. We still need to test this and make sure that it is the right part.
So let's go ahead. This is all attached really loosely. Let's go ahead and attach, see if we can. Pretty sure, does it only go one way? Let's just double check. So that should be attached. Let's just see what happens. The fan comes on. I don't know why the fan comes on. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really disappointed. I don't know what to do at this point. There are some differences between the LCD that came with it and that I purchased. It shouldn't have been. It looked identical on eBay and it fits in perfectly. I don't know why the screen itself would not be working. Really sad, really frustrating. I don't know what else to do. So I took it apart, looked at everything on this motherboard, and nothing seems to be wrong. Besides that ribbon cable, I was really careful to not touch that motherboard. I'm gonna plug it in again. Let's give it a shot. I don't know what this is gonna do, but it's worth a shot to try. This is thousands of dollars we're talking about. I'm freaking out a little bit. Okay. So you can see under my little pinky here, it's flashing there, and I don't know. All right, let's see. Holy. Oh, no stinking way. We got it. Oh my gosh. Okay, turn it off. Don't touch anything. Come off, come off, come off. Holy cow. It worked. I wish so badly somebody out there could be feeling what I'm feeling right now. Because I feel like I just won the lottery. Like I just won myself like $3,000. That may be over exaggerating it, but Ducati would take it from me in a heartbeat. And for 200 bucks, I'm pumped. Yes! We gotta put the thing back together still and make sure it still works. That's a huge weight off. Oh my gosh, okay.
With everything for the TFT looking on the up and up, we're able to go ahead and start the final assembly. We gotta grab those 4 screws, install the LCD the correct way, and then with everything locked down, we'll bring it back to the motorcycle and do a final test just to make sure that everything we've done hasn't undone any of the progress we've made.
Yes.
And just like the first time around, we'll add the 3 bond to the rim of the case to give it a perfect seal. This should create a perfect watertight seal and lock everything back in its rightful place. Perfect to put back on the motorcycle. It worked for us the first time so well, I had to use a Dremel tool to undo the case when we knew the LCD needed to come out and be replaced.
We have the new to us handlebar, and we can go ahead and install this. This is not perfect by any means. In fact, I don't even know what end cap this is on there, but that'll need to come off. What I want to do right now though is remove everything from the cracked handlebar and replace it. So let's go ahead and take that apart. It shouldn't be that hard, and we can get it done pretty quick and replace it with a non-broken handlebar. Let's do it.
But don't see the back tire isn't broken.
That is true. You're kind of a goof, you know that?
And I found a bolt for you.
What?
And do you need the bolt?
It's always nice to have extra hands around the shop. There are just 2 bolts holding this ignition switch in place. Then I can move to loosen the handlebar bolts and remove the one that's locking the handlebar in place.
In goes the new to me one. All right, and this one here, I don't care about, so I'm just going to grab it and break it.
And with the end cap out of the way, we'll go ahead and move on to installing all of the pieces that need to go back onto the handlebars.
All right, with all that out of the way, I think we can actually move on to the throttle. And before we put the throttle on, there's a couple of things we need to get done to it. One, just clean it up because it's dusty and old and from the broken bike. And then as well, I'm gonna put the spacers on. And that should hopefully remove any of the slop that's in the throttle. For whatever reason, the Ducati's throttles are notoriously really sloppy. There's a little bit there. So we're gonna fix that. What we can do is we can clean all this up. It's not in bad shape, it's just dusty. And then we're gonna add these spacers here and when you turn here. So those spacers will slip on to those pieces here, and that should adjust for the throttle slop. All right, next up is the throttle itself, and I have new grips for the bike. And so I think before I put the throttle together, I want to put the grip on before it goes on the bike, because it's not going on the actual handlebar, it goes onto the throttle mechanism. I think that'd be easier off the bike because it is a piece of plastic and I don't want to break it. So let's do that now off the bike and then put it all together. So this is the throttle right here. This is all plastic here. And so just with it on the bike, I don't want to be fussing with it. We got some Pro grips. Cool. This goes on here. This side is thinner. This is going to be for the clutch side. And this is the thicker side. This is going to go on here. Great. So I got it, didn't break anything, and that's a major plus. All right, the only bummer with this is on the old one here, there's supposed to be a little nubbin right here. And because it was sheared off in the accident, we don't have that anymore. And so without that, it may not be as tight as I want it to be. So we'll have to do is figure out a way to get this. What I did with the Diavel was I manufactured one of these for it. So let's put this on now, and then we'll think about that maybe after. Yeah, see, it's gonna be, it should be, even if I tighten this all the way down, it's gonna be sloppy. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Let's figure that out first. It is the next day here, and we had been waiting on a couple of things to finish drying from yesterday, namely the TFT display and the throttle, which we had epoxied a couple pieces onto that. Now, hopefully, both have turned out pretty okay. The TFT I've kept on checking in on, and I think that's gonna look really good. It's the throttle that I'm a little nervous about. It has some finicky pieces to it, so let's go ahead and take a look at that, see if we can install the throttle, and see where we can go from there. This piece was missing a couple of little nubs that sat into the actual handlebar itself. We did a little bit of work to get those squared away. Those look like this now. So this little nub here is epoxied in, and then back there is another little stick that's epoxied in there as well. So if you remember from yesterday, there's a hole here, which that is where this little nubbin is gonna go in. And then you can see right here, that's where this little nub is gonna go. So this should both fit in pretty nicely. Everything should slot into place and just go right in like that. And with those taken care of, we can go ahead and get the throttle onto the motorcycle for good. And this is what I mean by reducing the slop on this throttle. With those spacers internally fixed to the throttle housing, we have a real snappy throttle, which you won't find on an OEM throttle. There's a lot of play in them. On most, if not all of the other Ducatis that I've seen, there's a lot of slop here, which now you don't have that. Another small thing that we can do is we can work right here to try to alleviate what I believe is a small leak that we have in the radiator hose. So this hose here is the hose from the radiator itself to the heat exchange box down here. And I've noticed a couple of drips here and there. And so what I did was I went ahead and got some new crush washers for it. I'm gonna back this out. This bolt here, it is a 6mm hex. Replace the crush washers, put it back in, torque it down, and I'm hoping that that will address the leakage. I don't believe this will dribble drabble everywhere because it's so far up. Ooh, uh-oh. A little bit more than I thought it would be. So let's do this fairly quick, yeah? Stop, stop, stop. One, shoot. Two, there we go. All right, get that. We are back and ready to go ahead and install this TFT display fully and finally on this motorcycle. It is all sealed up, it's been tested, it's been tried, and it has done perfectly. So LCD display works, we get it all sealed up, and it can go back on the motorcycle. And then with this back on the motorcycle, we can go ahead and install the headlight for good. And then we can move on to some other things. There's a few other things that we can get to. One thing that we can do are the rear sets. That's one thing that's on the list. We also have to drain and disassemble the gas tank. That's another thing. We also have the rear wheels, sprocket, and chain that we can replace. So there's a number of things that we can get done still. I don't know that we'll get to all of them in this video, but those are on the list. So let's get the TFT, the headlight on the front of this motorcycle, get it looking good, and we'll go from there. All right, and now with that TFT display in and looking really good and working, we can go ahead and install the headlight. And with this headlight installed, the whole front end is really starting to come together, which is really exciting. And then we got brakes, which I didn't mention before, but we should look into those for sure.
Installing this headlight was actually harder than I thought it would be. The affordances here are really, really tight. All of the wiring and everything is real snug in there, and so getting this to fit in just right took a little bit of convincing.
All right, so we have the headlight, we have the TFT display all put together. They're looking really good. The only thing that I can't figure out how to install right now are the screws that go right here. From the diagrams, which I can show you here, it looks like they're coming in from behind, but I don't know what they are attaching to. The plastic fairing comes over the top of this here, but I don't believe, and I could look up there and see if that's where they go, but it doesn't look like that's what they're going into. I'm just not sure right now. So we'll leave that be for right now, but this is all looking good. The headlight is working, high beams and low beams, tested that out, and so we're good to go there. There's a couple of other things that I want to get done. The brakes being probably first on the list and maybe the easiest. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. They're back at the workbench here. I'm hoping that it's going to be just cleanup and replacing the pads and then installing them, but we'll have to take them apart to find that out. So here we have the brake calipers. It still has the main brake line on here because this is going to attach here. It still has the original brake line on here because this shouldn't be damaged from the crash. It was all still intact on the wheel, so this didn't get any real pull or tug to it. But these are, one, extremely dirty, and two, they have rusted a little bit on the inside here. So we're gonna go ahead and strip them down, clean them up, get them looking as good as possible, and then possibly even just test to see how the compression is for both of these. And also replace the brake pads. I have new replacement brake pads for these, so we'll grab those and install them once we figure out if these are viable or not. They're actually in really good shape. They're really not that beat up at all. They're just very dirty. So let's go ahead and get to tearing these apart. Now that we have these torn apart as much as possible, we could also take apart the inner compression tubes here, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some brake cleaner to thoroughly clean these as much as possible. And hopefully with all that, the grease and the grime should come off of these and we should have fairly brand new looking brake calipers here. Then we can go ahead and reinstall the hardware in the new brake pads. That's what we're going to get to next. It shouldn't be that hard. This is just cleaning.
If you're still here and don't mind watching some guy on YouTube clean a couple of brake calipers, then now's a great time to hit that like button and maybe give me a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it.
That's actually not half bad. All right. This half in comparison with this half. Looking pretty nice over here, not so nice over here. So they're not perfect, they're still fairly dirty, but some of this grime is just really tough to get off, even with brake cleaner. I did the best I could. They're going back on a bike to get worked more, so I don't know that they need to be perfect. I'm gonna look to see if I can find any way that I can get more of this grime off. I'll try to find maybe another different solution for it, but for right now, these turned out really good. With the brakes pretty much all cleaned up, at least to the degree that I want to get them before putting them back on the motorcycle, we can go ahead and put the brake pads in and then get them installed on the Panigale. I did clean up some of the hardware for the brakes as well. So these bolts that go in, they were all old and just really dirty. So clean these up a good bit. So let's go ahead and install the brake pads and then the brake calipers back onto the bike. And with the brakes on the bike, we can go ahead and start installing the brake lines to the brake calipers. I also see how the brake line from the handbrake attaches to the brake calipers. My assumption is there's like a stacking of the lines, but I have to double check that before I put it in. So that's first. Let's get it done. This side. I marked it. There you go. A little mark for this side. Great. I'm gonna have to guess. But first, needs to be a washer, and then the nipple. For the left side brake lines, they get a double stack nipple here. So you can see right there. And so the lines literally stack on top of each other. I do want to make sure I have my washers just right. But this should be a fairly quick install as well, which is really good because then all the brake lines and the brake calipers will all be installed. I do need to snug everything up. I believe the brake lines are just hand tight. There's no torque specs for those, I believe. I can double check on that, but that's what I'm thinking right now. Don't want to over tighten those, that's for sure. Let's go ahead, double check, triple check, get this done. It is a good thing that we checked out the diagrams because I believe I've installed this incorrectly. And hopefully for all of you who are watching me and have been screaming at the camera that I have installed this wrong, you can take a deep sigh of relief because we're gonna fix what we've done to the brake lines already. And I'll show you what I mean. So in the diagrams, the throttle side is actually where we see the double stack. So we need the double stack on throttle side, single stack on the clutch side. So that's what we're gonna do. Fix it right now so it's the right way.
I know I've said this before, but I am not a mechanic, and a lot of this is happening on the fly. A lot of this is me learning as I go. And so there are going to be times like this where I have to take apart what I've done and redo it.
All right, snugged. With the brakes installed and all of the brake lines all squared away, I'm pretty sure we're all wrapped up with brakes for right now. I would move on to a bigger project, which would be the gas tank, but I've made some decisions on that. So let me show you. It's full of gas still. This gas tank, as you can see, is quite dented, and not dented in a way that I feel like I would be able to really put the work in and get it to looking OEM. It also has a dent here in the crotch area, which is a big bummer. Oh, I'll put this back down over here, it's heavy. But it does still have all of the gas tank internals and the keycap and all of the things that we would need from a gas tank. What I went ahead and did was I found another gas tank on eBay and I made the purchase. This gas tank that's coming in has a dent still, but it looks much more manageable. The dent on this gas tank, the metal is almost folded in, and that just seems like it's gonna be nearly impossible for me to pull and get it looking really nice. And with that being said, that is gonna wrap things up for this episode. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know nothing super dramatic and exciting happened in this episode, but a lot has happened on the motorcycle itself. We've gotten a lot done. We've gotten really, really close to getting this bike to the finishing stages, the paint stages, and that's gonna be really cool. So again, thank you so much for sticking around. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, drop a comment. I will respond to your comments. Love to have conversations with you, love to talk to you a little bit more about this Panigale. If you have any information on this Panigale V2, definitely reach out. I would love to know the story of it. If you have any information on Panigale V2s that I should be looking out for, drop that in the comment. I would love to know that before I find out the hard way. So again, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Until then. I don't know what this goes to, but I'll put it on my workbench. Okay.
No, that isn't a workbench.
What?
Yes.
What is it?